Hello, welcome back to Escape the Readathon vlog. This is week 3 and I am going to be going for quantity. If you missed last week's vlog, I was going for quality. I did a 5-star predictions only reading vlog, which was very fun. But this week we're switching it up. So I am going to be reading 200 pages a day for a week, and every time that I have done this style of reading challenge, I will say I am not holding myself to 200 pages a day each. I am holding myself to that amount cumulatively throughout the week. So 200 pages a day for 7 days is 1,400 pages. So that's the amount that I'm gonna try and read this week. Today is Monday, and it's actually Monday evening. So I took a break from vlogging yesterday on Sunday, and I read about 100 pages. So we're starting week. We are already like 100 pages down. I'm actually feeling really confident though, because I've done these types of vlogs at least 4 or 5 times before. I count audiobook pages, I count physical reading, I count ebooks, I count it all, as you should. I don't really have much of an intro for you other than to let you know my physical read, which is The Tapestry of Fate. This is brought from last week's vlog. This is my most anticipated release of the year, and then obviously a 5-star prediction, which is why I started it last week, and I am 120 pages into this book. This is going to be my main physical read throughout the week. I make no promises on finishing this book though. That is what I've got for now. I hope you enjoy challenge videos. I hope you enjoy reading vlogs. If so, you are in the right place, and I hope you enjoy. Hello, it's been a while since I've spoken to you. Almost 2 days. It is Wednesday evening, and what a couple of days it has been. I do have reading updates for you, and I have been reading, but not nearly enough to keep up with my 200 pages a day. I had told you last that I was already 100 pages down. I read 180 pages on Monday. I read 90 pages on Tuesday, which is yesterday, and today I'm trying to pick up the slack. I knew that I wasn't going to be reading a lot on Tuesday, I never do, but on Monday night I definitely planned to do a lot more reading than I did, but we are back, better than ever. Sorry, I had to move it into one of the back bedrooms. I know it's really echoey in here, so sorry about that, but really quickly, my reading updates for you. I started and finished You Should Have Been Nicer to My Mom. This is a new horror release that I have wanted to pick up. I actually own his other book, We Came to Welcome You, and listening to this audiobook and giving it 4 stars has definitely made me more excited to pick up that book. We follow a Dominican family, and we are in the perspective of the granddaughter. When the patriarch dies, all of the family is summoned to the family home for the reading of the will. The patriarch was a pastor and also did exorcisms, and upon the reading of the will, it's revealed that somebody there is a demon, and it is up to the family to suss out who it is amongst themselves and cast out the demon, or else their family will be cursed. Super intriguing premise, really gorgeous book cover, and I'm happy to say that it really did deliver for me. I knew, expectation-wise, because I had seen somebody else's review on this, to go in expecting the beginning of the book to feel very family drama led. So it's a exploration of all of these crazy characters. It's honestly like a family tree that's being mapped out by everybody's issues. So it doesn't really get super speculative and out there until maybe the latter half of the book. So I will say, like, temper your expectations. I wouldn't say it goes super hard on the horror until later. I really liked the writing style. I would say that the reason why I'm giving it 4 stars and not 5 was because of the main character, the POV that we are seeing from. I did not connect with her. She didn't necessarily stand out to me, and I wouldn't say that would be able to pick her voice out amongst other characters that I've read from before. But like I said, I did really enjoy this book. It was only 256 pages, so page count wise, I didn't get a whole lot out of this, but I wanted to tell you that I have picked up a NetGalley arc called The Greek Island by A.J. McDine. I've never read from this author before, and this book comes out next week. It is a friendship drama and a summer thriller. So this girl goes with her boyfriend, relatively new boyfriend, they've been together for like 8 months, with him to his uni mate's Greek villa, and she's never heard of these people before. Like, he doesn't talk about them, and they just randomly like invited her, and so it kind of feels out of the blue. And then when she gets there, These people talk like they're the best of friends. They've got this serious history together. They know everything about each other, and she feels kind of like the black sheep, and she's like, what's going on? Why did my boyfriend never mention any of these people? The main character, I would say, is Amber, but we get a couple of different perspectives. I have run into two others. So Amber's, one of the union mates' name is Victoria, and she gets a POV, and then the third POV is this girl named Willa. Track with me here, it's okay if you don't care, but Amber's boyfriend's name is Dominic, and one of his friends' name is Felix. Felix's daughter, Willa, who's 17, gets a POV. I'm very confused by that because it feels like her and Amber are like the two outliers. Anyways, I know like there's a reason for that, so that intrigues me. And we'll also say the reveals that have happened so far are really, really fun and creative. It's very drama heavy. I would definitely say this is leaning more towards mystery. There is not a suspense element. Nobody really feels like they're in danger, and so for that reason it's giving summer beach read, very fast pace, reveals, twists, mystery. I'm about halfway through that book and will let you know my thoughts on it when I finish it. And lastly, I am going to be reading Tapestry of Fate tonight. I've only read about 20 pages since I last spoke to you, but I am excited to be able to lock in on that a little bit more. I have dedicated reading time tonight, and I am excited to use that to my full advantage. So happy Wednesday. We are halfway through the week, and I will talk to you when I have another reading update. Hello and happy Thursday. It is the end of my workday on Thursday, and I wanted to give you an update on my page count. So currently today I have read 161 pages because I finished the audiobook for The Greek Island by A.J. McDine, and I stand corrected. I said yesterday that this was giving more of a mystery vibe. I was wrong. It is a thriller. The suspense comes in really hard, actually not long after I basically touched base with you yesterday. All of this is on the book and in the synopsis, but I went in really blind. There's like a murder and everything. I really liked this book, and I think the characters felt really real to me, especially Amber and the uni friend Victoria. The setting of this remote Grecian island was just so beautifully written, and it felt like a character in and of itself, like a beautiful summer book. This is the next thriller for you to binge by your pool. I'm giving it 4 stars, and I'm really glad that I was able to read it, and I literally read it in like 2 days. I do not know what is wrong with my camera. Look, it's doing it again. I was really annoyed editing my video last week because I filmed a lot in my library and the focus just really wants to go to the books, which like I get it. Okay, well that's really annoying me, but I'm going to read The Tapestry of Fate tonight. I read 50 or so pages of it yesterday and loved every minute of it, and I don't have any plans tonight, and I'm very excited to lock in, drink some tea, get cozy, and it is going to be a really wonderful reading night for me tonight. I will say yesterday I did do a good job of picking up some slack. So I read 291 pages yesterday. If I read 200 pages today, which I've already read 161, so it's looking likely, I am behind and will be behind around 120 pages. I think that is really doable, especially given the fact that I have not a single plan this upcoming weekend, and tomorrow is Friday. So I would love to get a lot of reading done. I will let you know when I have an update for you on The Tapestry of Fate, and I do not know what audiobook I am picking up next at this point. Hi, good morning. I have been not good at vlogging this week in general, but it is Saturday, so it's the last day for this vlog. It is morning though. Yesterday, I did not talk to you at all. We're all friends here, but I got my period and I don't normally feel that bad. I was feeling so physically under the weather and achy and headaches, and normally I just get like back cramps and like cramps and then I move on with my day, but I felt horrible. I did do a lot of reading, but I just could not like be vlogging. As far as the challenge, let me tell you where we're at. We are still behind, but only by around 100 pages. So I have 200 pages to read today and another 100 pages. 300 pages to be read today. I did a very good job yesterday, and we can really only attribute that to The Diviners by Liv Bray. This is a book that's been on my radar since I started watching BookTube in 2020, and I cannot believe I'm finally starting it. I got this rec from Kat with Paperback Dreams back when she was still making videos, like that's how long ago this was. And I picked up a copy when I saw it at a secondhand bookstore it was last summer. My library does have the audiobook, so I listened to 180 pages of this yesterday. This is an urban fantasy novel. It's set in Manhattan and we follow a couple of different characters. It's set in the 1920s and that has really grounded the story, the societal expectations on women. We follow a couple of Black characters and it really permeates the entire plot so far. Like I said, I'm around 200 pages in. I would say the main character is this young lady named Evie who is shipped off to Manhattan for her uncle to take care of her as a disciplinary measure. And she plays it off like it was some sort of discipline, but ultimately, deep down, she's so excited to be out of whatever Midwestern town that she was raised in. Her uncle is a character. He's a professor in the subject of all things occult. So he owns a museum and he's a professor. And the museum is like such a cool setting. The conflict comes in with the speculative element. So Evie has a party trick. One of the other characters lost his healing abilities when he was 14. And there are occasional chapters following young children being killed. So there's a serial killer on the loose and it looks like that there are some sort of speculative ties where the serial killer believes that he might be bringing about or attempting to bring out the end of days. And so Uncle Will, Evie, and Jericho, and then like all of this gang, this like cast of characters are all tied up in trying to figure out what has happened. I have loved this so far. I love the 1920s like talk. She goes out to clubs, there's jazz, the prohibition is happening, and so like she's like sneaking gin. It's very lighthearted and fun, and then it's so juxtaposed with this horrifying chapters of this like foggy misty character who's like wearing this hat and has this silhouette just killing children. I am certainly intrigued. This is a long series, so this is book 1 of 4 and all of them are incredibly chunky, so we'll see. That is the Diviners and that is the majority of what I read yesterday. Because I was not feeling well and the Tapestry of Fate does require focus and big brain book, I picked up I Knew Her Once by R.M. Campus. This is a NetGalley arc that I picked up on my Kindle that I have been so excited to read. Its tagline is like a gothic horror and romance. Cover is beautiful. I've been excited to give this a try. I only read about 60 pages of that, but that plus my 180 did put me over the 200 for yesterday, which was great. We follow a young lady, Rose Harper, who is very clearly running from her past. She really does not stay in a place longer than like 6 months or so, and she attributes that to being an author. She looks for inspiration where she goes and she looks for ultimately isolation. So we catch her at the start of what seems to be her cycle. She's moved to a new town. What sets this cycle apart is her living situation. She is leasing from a older lady named Carmela, and she lives in this insane gothic house. It's got a name, I don't remember it right now, and it's massive. She's automatically creeped out by the room that she's put in and asks Carmela, hey, like, can I go to a different room? And she said, this is the only one that is available right now. And she's like, oh, okay, so like you have other people leasing here. That makes total sense. She's like, no, just this is the room that like I have people stay in. And she was automatically like, okay, I guess. In looking for a job, she quite literally runs into our next character and she offers her a job as a cleaning service. I'm looking for what the bigger plot is going to be. I am only 60 pages into it, but I have high hopes for this book. Both The Diviners and I Knew Her Once is probably going to be what I read today. I'm in the mood for I Knew Her Once, and I don't know if I'll pick up the Tapestry of Fate again today. But yeah, like I said, I've got 300 pages to read, so I do have some work to do. I've got some plans this morning, which I'm very excited about, but this afternoon will be a rainy afternoon. We have had some sort of crazy drought. Like there's been 1 or 2 days of rain in the last 2 months here. So it's kind of a big deal. This whole weekend is going to be pretty rainy and I think everybody is very thankful for it. The fact that it is falling on a Memorial Day weekend, a long 3-day weekend, does kind of suck, but I'm not too mad about it because I'm a reader and that means I can have some quiet, cozy, rainy evenings to be reading my books. So I shall drink my coffee out of my go away I'm reading mug and prepare myself to go to my plans later this morning. Hello, I'm back for my morning plans and I am going to be listening to my audiobook and doing some chores around the house. But first, I did get a package and I figured we could unbox some book mail together. I do know exactly what this is. Okay, so this is Offspring by Jack Ketchum, which is the only sequel to Off Season. I found this copy on eBay, which is actually where I found the copy of Off Season that I read. There is a 10-year time jump from the events of Off Season, and that is where Offspring starts. I'm very excited to read this. Off Season was a very unexpected 5-star read for me. It was right book, right time. This is isolation horror. It's about cannibals and it's slasher for sure. I'm excited to get to this, but it probably won't be like this summer. I'm sure that I will read this though in the fall. Okay, I've got laundry to fold and a bathroom to clean, so I'm gonna put in my audiobook of The Diviners and try and start chipping away at this page count that I need to get today. It is a dark and stormy night. I have been listening to The Diviners by Libba Bray and really enjoying it. I am on page 276, so we're just shy of 100 pages read today. So that's a lot for me to still read tonight. I'm about to settle in and do some reading. I have only read maybe 10 or so pages on my Kindle for I Knew Her Once, but that is the book that I really want to read tonight. We're gonna go ahead and go for that and settle in. I will check back with you when I've read a little bit more. It's a little later. I have read 70 pages of my ebook, I Knew Her Once, and I am really, really loving it. Holy smokes, am I not in the mood to read anymore. I feel like a normal... Oh, thank you. I feel like a normal person who has a normal relationship with reading just like picks up a book and puts it down as they want. But then there's me who does these dumbass challenges and here we are forcing ourselves to read. So I don't love that. It is 7 o'clock in the evening and I definitely could read another 130 pages tonight, but I don't want to. And I love you guys and I love a reading challenge, but I'm calling it, dude. Jared has a like fun cooking show on, and maybe a week ago we watched the first like Star Wars, and so I want to watch the second one now, or the third one if you will, so I want to watch the fourth one. But yeah, that is what I would much rather be doing with my Saturday night, and I'm so sorry. I'm a bad booktuber, but I think I'm gonna fail. That's where I'm at. Hello, and yes, I did fail this challenge, as you just saw. I have nothing to say for myself. I failed by 130 pages. And I feel like I started the week like 100 pages down and kept like going at 100 pages down the entire week. And then ultimately, like when the rubber hit the road, I didn't have the stamina to push through. I'm very comfortable with this. I'm resigned to my fate. I was okay with the way that this went. And also, I think I read some really great books this week. I finished some good ones and I made great progress in others. So just as a roundup, I started and finished You Should Have Been Nicer to My Mom, which I gave 4 stars. I also started and finished The Greek Island, which I also gave 4 stars. So a very good, strong thriller, a very, very interesting and strong horror. And then I started The Diviners. I started I Knew Her Once and have gotten very good progress into both of those. And then I made more progress in The Tapestry of Fate. The Tapestry of Fate is just going to be my background book for the end of this like month. So out of the 1,400 pages I was trying to read this week, I read 1,270, and honestly, I think that's really strong. So I hope you enjoyed another reading challenge. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you guys are having such a good time with these vlogs for Escape the Readathon. We are in the last leg and the last week. So if you are not subscribed to my channel and you've made it to the end of this video, that means you like bookish content. So you should subscribe and get more of that from me, and then I will see you in the next video. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.